All right, this is, as far as I know, the one and only fuel filter for this car, the 2000. It goes almost all the vibes. They're in the same place, and also the matrix. This pertains to also a lot of Toyota products. So I'll show you a little bit more about this in a second. All right, so depending on the year of your car, if you have a Toyota Matrix, a Pontiac Vibe, it also pertains to like Corollas, a whole bunch of other Toyota products, and Lexus. And you might be having trouble finding your fuel filter, and there's a reason why it's so hard to find is because you can't see it anywhere. It's inside your gas tank. So if you look at other videos on replacing the fuel pump on your car, you'll see a ton of people put a brand new fuel pump inside this little device right here. And some of them have a hose, some yours don't have a hose, some they just connect. They also have a little fuel pressure regulator right here, and you'll see them take a brand new fuel pump and put it in an old filter. So if that's you, you might want to pin a comment showing this video on your comment section so that some people don't get so confused as to what the filter is. I've seen a ton of videos where guys show this, which is the strainer. This is not the fuel filter. This is the fuel filter. Again, it might not look like this. There's a, but it's inside the pump. Let's just talk about the fuel flow real quick so you kind of know that I'm not full of crap. It comes in a box like this one. Okay, you can get them on Amazon. You can't find them at like O'Reilly Auto Parts. You can look them up, but it's called an intake filter. And even O'Reilly Auto Parts shows some metal fuel filter that doesn't exist on this car. I've looked up the whole fuel system front to back. There is no metal fuel filter like what they show in their website. So that confuses a lot of people. So anyway, this is the strainer. This is the filter. Needs to be replaced. In fact, if you don't replace your filter when you replace your pump, you're probably going to have an issue in the near future, because what happens is when the pump goes out, a lot of times it throws metal shavings into the filter. So that's why they have to have a filter. They all have to have a filter after the pump, because those metal shavings will end up in your injectors if you don't. So this is the fuel filter. Procedure is, if you need to replace the fuel filter, you might want to buy the whole assembly, because you'll get a brand new pump, you get a brand new fuel filter, and you get a gas gauge thing all in one. It's a little more expensive, but if you want to do it without doing that, I'll kind of go over the procedure a little bit. I did make a video on replacing the fuel pump that I also put on this channel, so you can look up fuel pump replacement. And when I did the fuel pump, I did the filter, so that'll kind of give you an idea how to do it. So anyway, I figure I'll just do a little talking on this one, so that if you're searching for this particular item where the fuel filter is, you'll find this, and then you'll realize, oh, maybe I need to do the pump and the filter at the same time. Good idea. Can't go wrong doing that. That's what I did. And I didn't have an issue with my pump not working anymore. It had a fuel starving problem, and the filter is probably plugged, but probably the pump was coming apart too. So it's, like I said, you should do them together anyway. I think that's why Toyota did this. So anyway, you take out the, on the later models, the earlier ones don't have this hose. So you'll see like they'll snap into a thing here. There's like an O-ring maybe, or something like that. I haven't had one apart, so I don't know. But it'll snap into a thing here in the housing, and this filter is, you can separate and replace. You can get them from Toyota. Toyota Riverside has a great parts department. They were the ones who helped me locate this and figure this out. So Toyota Riverside, if you want to give them some credit, go do business with them. They really were helpful. So this hose, what you do to get this off is I used, now you got to be careful, don't do this anywhere near the gas tank, and make sure it's completely clean and dry before you turn on any kind of heat, because this thing has a little coil inside of it that gets hot just like any heat gun does, or blow dryer or whatever, and can be combustion, can cause combustion. Okay, so what I used this right here. Okay, I used this thing here, which is basically a mini heat gun for soldering, and I heated that thing up, and I heat this thing up right here a bit, not just hot enough to where, and then sometimes you can slip it off by doing that, but normally not. I had to just barely cut it with a razor blade to get this hose off, and then because I didn't show this in the other video, so I had to cut it with a razor blade to get it off. And then what I had to do to get it back on is I had to heat it up with this thing here. Again, don't do this near the gas tank. Make sure it is clean and dry. Make sure that there's no fuel sitting there. It could possibly combust, and do that at your own risk, of course. I heated this thing up, heated this tube up right here, got it nice and really hot, and then I slid it on. And once I got it on, I could tell it's not going to come back off. It's kind of a one-way deal. So then you put the new fuel filter in. Then you also put the new pump inside the fuel filter. So let's look at the fuel flow so you know what I'm talking about. Fuel goes in this thing. Okay, it comes out this side of it. It goes in this tube and comes out through the filter, goes through the filter, and then goes out this tube to the main fuel line. And then right here there's a regulator that's pushed in with O-rings on it. So it has O-rings around it, and all you do is you take a screwdriver like this and pry it off carefully. Go all the way around, do a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit around, and you pull out the fuel regulator, put the fuel regulator back in your new filter, and then put your pump back inside of it like this. You can see kind of how it fits. It has this thing on here, right? Clips go on there. Beck Arnley sells aftermarket ones here. Beck Arnley sells this one. They are available on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description of the one that I got, but it may not be the correct one for your car. It's best to take it out and take it apart and look at it, because there are a few different ones, and it's really easy to get the wrong one. I got the wrong one once. You will pay shipping to return it if you buy it that way. Just keep that in mind. So I made sure it was eyeballed the same, looked the same, has the hose and all that. The other one didn't have a hose. So like I said, there's a few different ones, but this is, all of these are a filter. So get your filter change, do it right, or you'll do it again. So anyway, that's how it works. And then this line hooks up and all that. It's pretty self-explanatory. You take it apart the same way you take it apart. There's all little clips on everything. It's pretty easy to do. So if you can't do that, buy the whole assembly and just replace it all. Then you'll be fine. So anyway, I'll talk to you in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. That might help you find your fuel filter.